Okay, we are ready for Below the Ocean with Heponwana. Good luck and have fun.
I am so excited to be bringing this game to you, this run to you. I was actually going to run this at Prevent-A-Thon 1 way back last June, and my computer turned into a pumpkin. It has taken a year. I am here to finally show you this great game. Below the Ocean, it's really chill. I always like to tell people if there's a photosensitivity warning, there is none for this game. It is just lo-fi, chill, 1-bit graphics, just a good time all around. Precision platformer. This category we're doing is 100% all gems, all chapters, which means this game has 4 chapters. You can see them on the screen right here. There are gems in each one. Those are our collectibles. We're going to get every one of those gems. We're going to beat every one of these chapters. We're going to get the full experience of this amazing game, all for a great cause. So please do get some donations in as we go. Time will begin once we select speedrun mode right there. So get ready for it. Time will begin in 3, 2, 1. Go. And as we go, I'll explain what we're doing. We are this cool little dude who is below the ocean. He's a diver who hooks up to oxygen. He has a tether of a hose going back to his oxygen cylinders. There's our first gem. Do a little risky maneuver, get it. We could climb walls or wall jump on walls. Can't really climb them. We could jump. And so we also are not able to collect a gem until we get to a safe spot. Usually that's going to be back to an air cylinder. We're going to use our tether, which has its own physics, and we're going to use it to try and fling ourselves various areas. If you ever do go below the ocean and start diving, don't use your air tether like this, and that was an unintended death. Gotta be very careful to jump over those spikes without going so high that we don't get our second jump going up there. And here we go. Also, this game, if you happen to know games with coyote jumping being you could walk off a ledge and get a little jump after you fall off, or what should be falling off a ledge, this game has coyote jumping from sideways. So as we slide down that block, we were able to jump after we let go to be able to swing around. We're going to take advantage of blocks and such to get our tether to the right size, because sometimes we just cannot make it. Ooh, that was a weird jump of mine, without our tether being the right size. We also have power-ups in each of these stages. The air bubble lets us float up on these currents, as well as we get a second jump that will burst our bubble. And we are going to use that to our advantage right here, right up on this. And we want to keep this bubble. Speed route is keep the bubble so we could jump over here and get this gem. Otherwise, we'd have to go down below to this air bubble down here and work our way back, which could be a bit of a time loss. Other move in this game that's important is if you press down, you will fall quicker. If you press up while you're jumping off of things, you will actually sometimes, not always, but sometimes get a little bit of a boost upwards. So it's all about kind of balancing your jumps, balancing your up. Ooh, and not doing that. That was a sloppy mistake. We want to get high enough to grab this gem, but not so high that we hit those spikes, because spikes, bad news. Pretty much in this game, almost anything that is blue is going to be bad news a lot of the times. Another mechanic, yellow. Yellow lets us activate things. I'll do a quick checkpoint reset. Doing a quick reset will let me go right back to that cylinder without having detangle my air tether, because that air tether, it takes time to detangle, and we're speedrunning. We don't got time for detangling. Another important thing of this game that I should call out is the music. Every stage has its own song, and each song is really chill, lo-fi, like type of music you could just really, really get lost in. One of the things I love in a speedrun game is being able to just enjoy the music, because if you're speedrunning a game, you're going to keep playing the same things over and over, and if you can't enjoy the lo-fi chill jams of a game like this, or just up-tempo music, whatever music is right for you, but if you can't enjoy it, you're doing it wrong. You know, you need a game where you could just get lost in those good beats. By pressing down and diagonal while we were falling there, we were able to stretch our tether. We were not supposed to reach that cylinder and should have had to go to a higher up cylinder. But by pressing down, we were able to attach to that bottom one. This is beating chapter 1. We got our first of our 4 treasures, the pearl. Now we could do a little dance, enjoy ourselves, feel good about a good 100% on that chapter, and we are off to the next chapter, speedrun mode. You might be wondering, what's the difference between speedrun mode and begin dive? Well, speedrun mode skips all dialogue. Otherwise, nothing different, but we want to skip dialogue, such as when you first start your dive, it's going to tell you, and so I went under the water, below the ocean, to find whatever treasure it is. That's a lot of words. We are going to bop that turtle. Speed Tech is the only turtle in the game that if you bop, you get a speed boost. You don't have to do that, but if you're speedrunning, you definitely want to. Once again, everything you never do in real life, besides bopping turtles, is use your air tether like this when it's your only lifeline. We'll grab this bubble so we could get up here, but we want to keep this bubble. So be careful not to burst our bubble so we could go under here. Otherwise, we'd have to go up and around dodging those crabs, and those crabs are rather crabby. So we're just going to keep going. Head over here, grab another gem. Make sure we don't hit the spikes because our tether is just long enough to hit those spikes. If you're doing any percent skipping the gems, you could get through there without waiting for that one crab. Unfortunately, we were not doing any percent, so we had to wait. There's a little sign of a gem sparkling up there off screen, and therefore we have to get it. This room, ooh, barely did that wrong. So if we go very quick here, we don't need to wait for these crabs if we go slow, and that's why I accidentally bopped myself, was trying to go too fast for my own good. If you don't go fast enough, you won't be able to get there ahead of those crabs. And you'll notice these turtles back there, no speed boost for jumping on them. It's only that one earlier on that gives you that wonderful little speed boost. But we will still use the turtles to get our treasures, to get our gems. And other fun thing, we won't see it too often, but every once in a while, you'll see our tether actually have just enough physics to boss us around, to move us. Here's a new power up here, the blue bubble. Blue bubbles you could use as little jetpacks. Go down here, grab that gem, bop that turtle. If we die and had to restart this room, that turtle would not be where we wanted him to be. This game, there is no RNG, but there is, if you know the game Celeste, this game is similar to Celeste, where it has entry cycles and death cycles. A death cycle is when you die in a room. Everything will be in a slightly different preset position than when you first enter that room, and that could end up causing us some trouble. We used that blue bubble to stretch our tether back there, get down a little further, a little quicker. One of the big speed techs in this game is balancing out our tether. We are going for, oh, I got greedy. We will try that one more time. The greedy route right there will let us get this without retethering anywhere. Saves us a tiny bit of time. Of course, by dying on our way down, we lost all that time we saved, but it's okay. we're going to skip most of this room by just taking that blue bubble and jumping on up instead of going back and forth across that room. And we're just going to use these blue bubbles. And now we're going to have another very hidden gem. How hidden? It's going to be this crab right down here. You notice he's twinkling. He is sparkling. And because of that, it means he has a gem in him. So, ooh, my tether, my tether actually, if you noticed, got stuck. And so there's a little buildup of my tether on that left-hand block that actually got me stuck for a second. This game, it doesn't have RNG, but that tether's movements can really cause some interesting mechanics. We're going to cut this incredibly close, barely get through. Another new mechanic, these slingshot bottles. You make enough force and you'll fling yourself, and we will use those to get to some really high up areas that are out of our way, including a very well hidden gem up here. You'll also notice, I didn't bring this up earlier, but if you're detethered and if you're detethered, you'll have a countdown timer start up. If that countdown timer runs all the way 0, you will die because you'll be out of air. Here we're going to fling ourselves very far, very dangerous. If you go too far, you could end up hitting those spikes, so you're kind of going blind there, and pretty much you want to play it as safe as possible. Here we want to play a little risky, so we are going to try to go under this, and that way we don't need to slingshot again to break off of that block. And here we go. We're going to electrify this slingshot bottle. And as long as we're electrified, we could bop all those fish. It opens the door. And we're going to bop these crabs by just running around this platform. And like that, we are done with Chapter 2. Well, we're done with Chapter 2 right now. So let's do another quick little dance. And hit it. There we go. So we got the Grail, and now we're on to Chapter 3, where we're going to do something. If you're an old-time speedrunner like me, an old-time game player, this is something that blew our minds way back in the days of Metroid, going left to start a game. We go left to start to collect all of these little pips. You get all of those pips, and we could activate that machine that will break our tether so we could continue on. Otherwise, not a long enough tether get through all of that. And this stage is going to be a lot about collecting these pips. Then we'll fling ourselves real far, real quick. We don't need every air bottle. Some of them are just suggestions. You know, they're real good if you're playing casually, like that one down there. We don't need it. Here's a new mechanic. These, barely missed that. Wanted to grab that bubble and kind of panicked. So, with these clear bottles, when you grab them, you could move in any general direction. It's 0 gravity time. And we could use them to speed up our motion, to smash through walls like that. And now we're going to see the most hidden gem in this whole run. No way you'd know that's there. When this game first came out, no one was speedrunning this chapter. Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 were not speedran until pretty much, I think, I was the first person speedrunning them. So to get 100%, to figure out where those gems, where that one gem was a complete nightmare. I was stumped for so long, but luckily figured it out eventually. Speaking of things that could stump you, this is a room that could get you all tangled up. So we're going to do more checkpoint manipulation, hit that switch, go back to our checkpoint, don't need to detangle ourselves, and we could just run on through. Here we're going to use the physics of our tether to pull a bunch of switches at once. We're going to do that 3 rooms in a row, all with slightly different mechanics to it. This one's my favorite because it's actually a little bit of a puzzle when you first enter a room. How do you hold all of these down? Don't leave the room yet though, because we want to make sure we don't hit that crab, but we do hit that gem. And there we go. If you go right where the arrow was showing to go, you would continue on your way, but instead we are going this way because, oh, did not think that crab was going to be there. I slightly off my usual cycle there. So now we have this gem. We need to, nope. We are going to grab that safety air. If you do it right, you don't need that safety air, but things were just moving a hair off of what I wanted. Another new mechanic right here, because this game loves giving you new things to play with. These kind of cannons, they will shoot you out real far. Make sure we do not miss that pip before we go up here. Shoot ourselves again. Pulling ourselves up. Pop that air bubble because we don't need to hold on to it. We would lose it in the cannons. So down below, if you notice, all of these walls are kind of shiny, textureless. You cannot grab textureless walls. So, oh, come on, grab me. Another new mechanic, those claws. But we're going to reset this room intentionally. I mentioned before there is entry cycle and death cycle. Entry cycle, we would have to wait for that one jellyfish we jumped over. Death cycle, we can actually go over that jellyfish without waiting for it. So we just kind of manipulate which cycle we're on. A lot of games that offer like death cycle and entry cycle, you usually are not wanting to die, but death cycle is your, oh no, your fallback plan, saying you have to plan for in case things go wrong. This game, completely different. This game, it's all about sometimes needing that death cycle to get a little more speed. Be careful with these claws. They can fling you into the jellyfish. And then this room, we're going to try to avoid some of the claws. It's a big, quick descent. And so we need to go over here, get hooked up, hit this switch, avoid this claw, yes. And that just saved us several seconds, and make sure we get hooked up again. You might have saw there's a gem hiding at the top here. By the way, that last room was really, really tricky, and I am so glad it worked out the first time through. And we get this gem. Some of these gems are hidden in plain sight, like that one where it was very clear where it was. Let's hope he grabs me. Thank you. Sometimes that claw will not grab you and you'll just fall to your death. Thankfully, I got through. And now we will fling through a couple more rooms. And we're about to get into the room that has the most checkpoint abuse possible. We are going to repeatedly go back to our checkpoint in this room because it just saves some time. So we're going to go over here, grab this pip, go back to our checkpoint. It's quicker than moving all the way back without hitting that checkpoint. Once again, go back to our checkpoint. We keep all those pips. Break that, grab, oh, come on, grab the pip. My tether hit the edge of that ledge and kind of held me in place. And then we hit, oh, but it's okay. We did hit that switch at least. I fell a little behind schedule, but we are all good. And that switch, because we did open it, we could get that gem, We jump over here. That air bubble would pop our bubble anyways, the jumping bubble, so we don't need to worry about holding on to it. Once again, an air tank that's for suggestion or decoration. And this is the last serious room of this chapter, but there will be a tiny bit more coming up. You want to kill these as quick as you can, but wait for your charge to get back to you before you hit them. Otherwise, you will pop yourself. Then we want to swing. Oh, just a touch less than we wanted. There we go. And for once, we're not going to go off to the right after we're done. The treasure is actually in the room we fall from. And we're going to get into Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is the final chapter of this game. I wish there was more, but unfortunately, only 4 chapters. It is such a great game. It is a lot of fun. I highly encourage, if you do want to speedrun a fun game, give this game a shot. So once again, we could go left to start here, but we're not going to. Our new mechanic here is all about stretching our tether. We could not reach that without this high-speed bubble. This bubble also gives us electricity, so we are going to use it in a lot of mechanics. And we need to make sure we hold on to it, and there's some good challenges with it. One thing that's a lot of fun here is if you bash an enemy with your electrified turbo bubble, you will actually keep the bubble. So we're going to use that to our advantage. Activate that real quick. Avoid that air bubble. If you try and dash through that air bubble, you will not make it. And here we are going to use that refresh ability to keep ourselves on the shortest path possible. We were meant to go the upper left corner. Upper left corner, it's a nice place to be, but it's a little too slow. So this room, you see the gem, and you're probably like, all right, grab that gem, and that's all you gotta do. Now we have the secret for this room. No, there is a second gem. It is so easy. Miss that one. It's hidden in plain sight, but it's still hidden nonetheless. Ooh. My controller decided to dive down just a little. That's what I get for being on the analog stick. Play this game with a D-pad. Don't make the mistake I do, which is every once in a while I'll float over the analog stick. So these spikes, you might think they're bad news, but because we are shiny, we could blast through them. There is a hidden gem here. You'll notice this guy was, that one spike was shiny. The shiny meant he had a gem. By the way, keep our shine spark here. We do not want to lose it. We need it. If we lose it right now, before we grab this gem, we cannot get 100% unless we restart this chapter, which is 2 minutes and change of time loss. I call this the Indiana Jones room because you're just running out of this place while everything is coming down, trying to kill you, and you just keep moving, and there we go. And once again, another new mechanic. This game keeps giving so many mechanics, despite the fact that it's so short. I really wish there were more chapters because each new mechanic just makes me want to play a little more. There we go. We want to drag both of those at once, and if we do it right, we will barely be able to jump over there. And there we go. We want to drag this block, ooh, but not fall that quickly. That was unfortunate. We want to keep this block because we need the tether for it to go down here. By the way, we are invincible right now because we have that shine spark, as long as it's not those blue spikes down below that don't move. So we're just going to move through things with reckless abandon. Then this room, we are going to do a couple intentional deaths. We get that gem. Whoa. My guy kind of moved weird. We'll take another intentional death so we don't need to go back down. Then we will blast through here. And just keep on moving through here nice and smooth. We want to try to keep this. Oh, there we go. Barely got that. We want to have enough of that shine spark to hit that one air bottle. There's a gem hidden over here. Dodge the spike. Head on down. Go below this air bubble and get our double jump in. If we lost that double jump, we would have been in some bad news. So we will now move on through. We are getting near the end of this run. There's still another gem or two to collect, but we are within, about a minute or so of calling this run done. It's actually going nice and smooth. Here we are going to find this bottle is electrified. No sign of it being electrified. It's the only bottle in this game that has me a little confused. Also, Indiana Jones Room Part 2. This time it's vertical. Avoid all those spikes. This door won't open until those two spikes go away. Fall down the middle here. You might think, why don't you fall to left or right and you can hurry up those spikes that are falling down from the top? They actually won't be detected, so we have to be very mindful of that. Also be very mindful of these mines trying to kill us. We want to move very carefully here. You could rush it and you might barely fit through, but if you die, you lose a lot more time than you would typically make up for if you don't die. So once again, wait for the shine spark to refresh, and time is coming up really soon. This is the last real puzzle of the game, and then time is coming up once we grab the final treasure. If we hit those little bullets, they do not destroy our shine spark, and time is coming up in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. And that there is below the ocean. That is 100% all of the gems, all of the chapters. And that was really close, I think, to a PB/world record. Current world record, I think, is a low 24 minutes. So that came out really good. This game is a lot of fun. It's really lo-fi, really chill type of game you could just kind of relax to and get lost in. I always want to see new people run this, so if you are interested in the most chill of games, give it a shot. Also, another thing, give a shot to donate to the Little Warriors. Fantastic cause. It is really great cause, so if you can donate, please remember to do so. And that'll be it for me for tonight. I will be back on Sunday with Celeste, and there are a ton of great runs coming up between now and then, so definitely keep watching. And happy Pride Month to all of my friends out there in the LGBTQ community. Much love to all of you. Trans rights are human rights. Much love, my friends.